We are not looking at an election that might be coming anytime soon. So 2011, we think there will be no election. But we suspect that we might have an election sometimes later, 2012. And we think those who are responsible for the implementation of the GPA, we are looking at South Africa and SADC, that they will push the parties to implement what is in the GPA. And we think if that is going to be done, we will have a fair and free election of violence. Right? But when you look at the violence that is there now, and that has been taking place for these past weeks, it was because ZANU-PF had, at their conference, agreed that they wanted to have an election. And I think their strategy was to frustrate the MDC from moving out of the inclusive government, because the GPA dictates that where one party that has signed an agreement moves out of the government of national unity, then an election must be called. And what they thought would happen is, if they do that, frustrate the MDC, move it out of government, then they would call the elections under the old constitution, which will then give Mugabe the power to dictate issues, to be able to manipulate the situation. So that is what they were looking at. So we are certainly not looking at elections this year. We are looking at elections either next year or the year after. So that's what we are looking at. Yes.
Okay. And so what do you think? I mean, obviously you mentioned SADC. They should be putting pressure on the Zimbabwean government to implement the GPA, the conditions of the GPA. What do you think, from our point of view over here in the UK, ACTSA, other organisations, what can we be doing to help reinforce that?
What we think you need to do is to support the organizations that are involved in pushing the agenda for Zimbabwe. The agenda that we're talking about is to see to it that the GPA is implemented in full. Right? When I talk about the GPA being implemented in full, I'm talking about the appointment of governors, the issues of the governor of the Reserve Bank, the issue of the Attorney General, and other issues that are mentioned in the GPA. That we support the bodies that are supposed to be monitoring or are supposed to be helping the parties to implement. So, in short, what I'm simply saying is the international community must engage SADC. SADC will then engage the facilitator, who is President Zuma, to then see the implementation of the GPA. And by that we think they will have helped the people of Zimbabwe. Because what we are saying is the people that are helping must stand with the people of Zimbabwe. Not stand with politicians, but stand with the people of Zimbabwe. And the people of Zimbabwe want a free and fair election so that they can elect the leaders that they want, the people that they want to govern them, and then move forward.